Alrighty, let's get ready for the week ahead. So as you can see, I've already sort of set up and I've got some cards laid out. This is helping us identify what the focus of the reading is for this week. So you can know pretty quickly if it's for you and if you need this advice. If this resonates, if it lands, make sure to comment below, subscribe and share this. And of course, if you want to book a private reading, a 12-month forecast, or join the waitlist for Life Reset program, all of that information will be below. What I find immediately very, very interesting is we do have the Magician. Last week, this card came out, sort of came out. It was like an indicator for weeks coming, and here it is. It just flew out. And we also have the Temperance in reverse again. If you haven't watched last week's reading, I would go watch that first because this is an indicator that there is still relevant energy, but also because of the Temperance card in reverse, it tells me that some of you have not addressed the core imbalance. And that's okay, because remember, well, if you watched last week's, you would know, I gave a 4-week kind of update on that particular area. So this might be an indicator that you're still working on that area, but just a call back for anyone who hasn't watched last week's to go and watch it, because it's very necessary to your manifestations. So that you can actually tell what I'm looking at here, we have the Magician, we have the Temperance card in reverse. So there's still working on that imbalance in your life, an area in your life where you feel like you want to take a leap of faith, that you need a big change. It may be a life reset or a new chapter, kind of fresh start energy. This is what you're trying to manifest, but we need to address the alignment and what's not in balance. It's probably coming up and through in the conflict between your conscious and your subconscious. You think you need to work on these things, but you need to start down here first. Let's have a look. So we've got also the Seven of Swords. There are things that you're not quite willing to let go of yet. Let's put it out there. There are things, there are people, there are jobs, there are actions, there are beliefs, there are habits, there are behaviors that you're holding on to. It's almost like, how do I go forward if I don't have this part of my identity or personality or even just daily routine? And that is keeping you stuck from truly moving on, truly taking the leap of faith, because there's this fear of letting go. Let's look at this one who has not popped up upright, the Knight of Cups. This is you going out on a limb and trusting your emotions rather than listening to the fears of your mind. That in and of itself is just a huge step in your own spiritual personal development journey to learn to navigate via feeling, via intuition, via body sense over your mind. Your mind is a product of everything that's happened so far in your life, but it's just, I like to compare it to like ChatGPT. It's got a lot of information and evidence, but it doesn't necessarily put it together in a way that you want, in a way that is helpful, and in a way that creates the desired results. So if you ever find that your mind is where you're stuck, or part of the reason you feel unable to do the things you want to do or have the life you want to have, it's a very good indicator that it's just running an old program and we need to turn to our feelings. It is, well, it's not that it's a risk, but it feels like a risk to turn to our emotions, especially because so many of us have been told and taught, stop being so emotional, stop overreacting, get serious, be logical. So we're working against not only our own programming, but the programming of the people around us as well, which can feel very intimidating. But Ten of Pentacles, this is all for your dream life. This is all for a future that you're actually excited to wake up to. So it's going to be worth it. Even if at the moment there feels like a lot of work to be done to get there, the only way to get to your Ten of Pentacles is through choosing your feelings and reconditioning your mind and working on your manifestations and bringing your life into balance and into alignment with this future. You're not going to just work your way towards heart fulfillment and ease and grace and a magical, beautiful, peaceful life if you're not examining these other things, because it's all of these things that create that beautiful, magical, peaceful, amazing life. So that is just the sort of snapshot indicator of where we're at and where we need to focus today. So let's use this deck to see more specifically today. Oh my God. I'm getting vibes of there's a lot of different things that need to occur. All right. Bottom of the deck, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. There are cycles that need to change, but also there's opportunities coming your way. So let's prepare you for those. Oh, let me move in this direction. All right, so you might not be able to see all of them, but I'll hold them up. So the Death card popped out prominently. Not only is this a season of change, but it's a season of you stepping up to lead the change. I see the Death card as a beautiful opportunity for rebirth. A lot of clients that I work with, both tarot and coaching, really resonate with the Phoenix archetype, which makes a lot of sense if you're going to someone for guidance or for transformation to resonate with the Phoenix. But what I really love about that is the Phoenix always comes back more vibrant, more strong, more capable, and with all of the resources that they are, born with. So this is also a season in your life where you need to remind yourself of and even go back to what made you burn so brightly at other times and seasons of your life. This could both be a helpful activity to clarify what it is you want to do next, if that's your block, or even like the particular way you need to go about making these changes. So let your death be a Phoenix rebirth. We have the 10 of Wands in reverse. I see for many of you, you're actually viewing yourself as the problem and yourself as a burden on this journey. You see everyone around you, or so it appears, not struggling in the way that you are. Let's just identify here and acknowledge that we don't see inside other people, and often we don't even see inside their lives really to the degree that we think we're witnessing. So that in and of itself is probably a false premise. But what I notice here is like this emotional connection to your own belief in your unworthiness, and this is something to be addressed. Let's see what these cards have to say about it, because I'm sensing they're connected. So we have the 9 of Cups, and we have the 4 of Cups. Yeah. So the fact that these are sideways is some of you, you're kind of either way. So for the people who are feeling more upright, what I get the sense of here is that because things have been challenging, either currently in the present or recently in the past, it's almost like you can't believe that success is possible, or that it is such a difference that it must be so far away. So while you're optimistic of positive things happening in your life, it's almost like one day, which might be 5 years from now or 10 years from now. But that kind of energy is blocking your manifestations to start with, but also it kind of gives you an excuse not to work on things now and not to take steps now. So that's a bit of a, for some of you who are feeling quite burdened or unable, that is your issue, because you're comparing your present or recent past to the beautiful 10 of Pentacles from before and just seeing the gap and the lack, and so you're living in lack. For those of you who might resonate more with it in the reverse, it's around in the past you have made a mistake. Let's be just black and white about it. You made an error. You trusted someone you shouldn't. You spent some money that you now need. You made a choice in career, relationship, whatever, that did not pan out. And while we all do that, and it's not the end of the world, you've really attached to the burden of making it the biggest deal ever, but also not giving yourself any forgiveness or compassion around it. And because you've made this mistake and you've over identified with it, it's almost like you see any future success as also a future failure. Like, yeah, sure, I will buy that house, but I'll probably go bankrupt and have to sell it. I will start that business, but something will happen and people will be mad at me and I'll be sued. Like, you're attaching any success immediately with failure. And of course, in this energy, making it all your fault, but also being super pessimistic, no wonder you don't want to start. Let me know, which one are you? Is it this, feeling a huge gap? Or is it this, just almost having this very inevitable failure kind of mentality? And we will pull some cards also. Let's do that right now, actually, on how we can navigate either of those options much more positively. The Great Gathering, it's all coming together, intuitive hits, soul tribe. All right. So I see this for the first one where it's this huge gap between where you are now and where you want to be, and then like the resistance around it. Get together with people on the same journey, but also people on different stages of the same journey. Sometimes it just takes someone a little bit further behind us to really allow us to see how far we've come, and then also see people further along in the journey to go, oh, it is doable. And in fact, I could actually start doing some of those things now. And you begin to bridge the gap because you're actually crossing the bridge. So that's the first thing I see. What about guidance for the people who, just predicting failure? Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided. The universe is not setting you up for failure. The universe is not seeing your inevitable failure. They're seeing your inevitable success. And so it's really about getting the grander, greater, higher perspective of what you're doing and why, but also seeing it from source's point of view, seeing it from your higher self's point of view. It is a choice, even if it doesn't feel like it, to be pessimistic, just as it is a choice to be optimistic. Which one are you choosing? All right, next we have the Strength card. And this one also has one that is sideways. So with the Strength card, today I'm getting the sense here that this is around the strength to overcome personal addictions, whatever that might be. It could be substance, it could be scrolling on YouTube. I guess you can do that now. Scrolling on Reels, on Facebook, on TikTok, on whatever. It might be something around food. It could be over-exercising. I don't know what it is for you. Let me know what it is for you if you're comfortable sharing. But this is like having the internal personal strength to overcome addiction. It might be part of the reason, because all these things come out, at the same time for a reason, might be influencing your ability or your belief in change. We have the Emperor. So we're going to look at it both ways, just like we did for the other ones. All right. There might be a very strong dominant figure in your life, whether that's an actual person, like your partner, your father, your cousin, or it might just be someone you look up to. Who's coming to mind in this moment is like Tony Robbins, but it doesn't have to be male specifically. And you're just in this constant judgment of yourself based on your own internalized what you think they would be judging you for or how they would handle it. And again, it's sort of like this gap mentality from earlier where you're making yourself the problem. It's almost like you're making your addiction so much bigger and greater than you because you're almost putting yourself down with this comparison on how someone else would do it better or how someone else would have handled it, or maybe even a bit of embarrassment or resistance to what this person would say if they knew about it or if you spoke to them about it. Let me know if that resonated. So if we flip this upside down and the Emperor is in reverse, to me, this is just an indicating that you don't believe in your own strength and power to overcome this addiction. Like you do believe the addiction, whatever it is stronger than you. So in this battle of like lion, and then Emperor in reverse, it's like, I'm going to lose. That even if we go head to head, even if we go all in, even if I'm at my strongest, even though reverse isn't at your strongest, but it won't be enough. Did that one resonate with you? Let's see what guidance we have there. So if there is judgment, or sort of outsourcing that judgment to a person, whether you know them or not. Awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. Maybe it's about integrating what you perceive as that judgment and seeing what is true and what is just story or unhelpful thinking and behaviors, and have an actual conversation with that person in your own mind. If it's someone you know and it would be helpful, you can chat to them. But this is more about who you are becoming and who you are stepping up into being. If this is the Emperor in reverse and it's more around you don't think you're strong enough to overcome this addiction, what's the advice there? No, wait, wait, postpone, pause, say no. To me, this is going, you can. You can say no to that addiction. You can pause it, you can limit it, you can cold turkey it, you can say no and focus on your no to this addiction. I heard something the other day, it was on a reel. Maybe I scroll too much, maybe that's my addiction. And he was basically saying he's noticed in his clients, it sounds like he coaches people with health and weight loss and wellness, that the people who impress him the most, but also surprise him the most, are when physically nothing's changed and they're still wildly unhealthy, and yet they start to ask themselves the question, what would a healthy person do in this situation? And so even though they don't have any 3D evidence of having overcome their addiction to food or their, addiction to unhealthy behaviors and habits, they start to draw that very clear line of like, this is what I do and this is what I don't do based on that question of what would a healthy person do. So if your addiction is someone who scrolls all the time, you might, what would someone who isn't addicted to social media do? Or what would someone do who doesn't care about reels or whatever the question is for you? If you have something particular in mind and that has helped you define a line, let me know what that line is below or what that question is. What would insert, your ideal type of person do in this circumstance? This is very powerful. All right. These are now your final cards, and we're just going to look at messages from your guides. What would be in your highest good and most helpful over the next week to 2 weeks? All right. So we've got open in reverse. I don't always read in reverse, but sometimes I feel called to. So open in reverse, you're being encouraged to open up to yourself or to other people about things that really matter to you. So this might be, hobbies, it might be interests, it might be beliefs and really strong opinions about things that you've kind of kept locked down. But start to question and ask yourself, is this still helpful? Or am I willing to get a little bit more vulnerable with people in my life? We've got freedom in reverse. I see these are all very connected. Like it is around opening up to and acting as if you have the freedom to do what you want to do. And I would say in 90% of cases, we do. We're not in survival mode. We're hopefully not in any kind of war zone or conflict zone. And you do actually have more freedom than you've been in the habit of giving yourself. So opening up to that this week. And communication finally in reverse again. I see all the guidance this week is just really telling you, you've not been open, you've not been acting on your freedoms, you've not been communicating. So the guidance here is really to get vulnerable, ask yourself, where do I need to open up? Where do I need to act more out of, freedom and joy in what I want to do? And who and where do I need to communicate more clearly with? Very interesting energy. That is our reading for the week. Now, this might be very clear for you this week or over the next coming weeks. Make sure you stick with it. If the initial cards really resonated with you, I would 100% go and watch last week's video or even rewatch it if you have watched it and really focus on those 4 cards at the end. Week 1, 2, 3, and 4, playing out that journey. It's going to be really significant to you if this reading and last reading resonated. If you'd like to book a personal reading, a 12-month forecast, or get on the wait list, which actually for the Life Reset program, links are below, go do it now. In fact, by now, the early bird should be open for the Life Reset program, which gives you a special bonus if you sign up early for our next round. All the information will be via the link below. And if you have any questions, you can always email me or reach out to me on social media. All right, have a magical week, and I'll see you next time.